Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. That's awards. The razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not speed. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news, we analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
From the views on the street
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lawn.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents,
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Voice of the people. You can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Suibifa Dokubo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikena Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka, Amayanabo the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
2564 is coming up on Burning 9, right?
2564 Atlantic Tower.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
In a world where power shapes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
I'm Mr. Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arara, my name is Made Kuti, and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. It's awards. The razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
In a world where power shifts its every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People tell of more than a voice.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, The world listens.
From the views on the street,
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lord.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents,
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Voice of the people. You can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Soibifa Dokobo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikenna Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka, Amayanabo the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
2564 is coming up on 29 right.
The 2564 Atlantic Tower.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're done.
It's a beautiful Friday morning. Thank God today is Friday. When I say it's a beautiful Friday morning, is it beautiful because it rained cats and dogs this morning, and a lot of things happened. You know, I saw some people when we were driving to work this morning. I saw some people who parked. You know, they had to pull over because the fog was too much. If you didn't have an air conditioner in your vehicle, you wouldn't be able to see the next car. In any case, I think it's still a beautiful Friday morning because, as usual, I'm happy because it's Friday, so I get to rest over the weekend. Good morning and thanks for joining us on VOP this morning. I am Chukuma Okoro. Now, quickly on the show today, State of the Nation, Tinubu'S reforms yielding results amidst insecurity and poverty. Now, that is coming from our Vice President, Kashim Shettima. Away from that, Senator Ali Ndume accuses Tinubu and Akpabio of lying as National Assembly splits over Electoral Act and tax reforms. Ahead of 2027, religious bodies clash over calls for INEC chair Amidst removal. Now, these are the major topics of discussion this morning, but we also have other interesting stories that we'll weigh in on before we get into the major stories. I am Chukuma Okoro.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jane Ogoy.
Now, let's get into the first banter. Nigeria's regulatory war over sachet alcohol has exploded into a full-blown controversy as the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration, NAFDAC, pressed ahead with its ban on the production and sale of alcohol in sachets and small PET bottles, despite clear directives from the federal government and the House of Representatives suspending the policy. The ban, enforced from January 22, 2026, has triggered protests from workers, unions, and manufacturers who accused NAFDAC of ignoring due process and pursuing a unilateral agenda that could cost thousands of jobs, reduce government revenue, and push consumers towards unsafe illicit breeds. While the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, condemned the move as a monologue by NAFDAC, stressing that no consensus was reached on the ban date. While the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, NECA, warned of far-reaching economic disruption and governance breakdown. Workers under the Food, Beverages and Tobacco Senior Staff Association have also staged demonstrations at NAFDAC's Lagos office, threatening nationwide protest if the ban is not reversed. Well, critics argue that NAFDAC's defiance of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation's directive on December 15, 2025, and the House resolution of March 2024 undermines democratic oversight. Now we are back at it again, living in very interesting times. I think this is the third time we are talking about this ban, on alcoholic content that are produced in sachet and PET bottles. And we did talk about it a lot in terms of the dangers inherent in it, the economic downside to all of it. And now we see a back and forth. The National Assembly has stepped in and said, look, yes, we had a decision that it was going to be banned, but we didn't have a specific date. Now that stepped up, went ahead, to start implementing, enforcing the ban on the 22nd of January. And there have been protests, on both sides, the pro and the anti. And so Nigerians are confused. Personally, I'm confused on whose side are we now? We see people say, look, it's going to take away thousands of jobs. And some people say, well, it is killing society. Yeah. So which one takes priority? If you ask me, like I said, I am for this ban because I've seen the damage, that it causes to people. Health-wise, accident-wise, because, and I said that, look, the best place to start this enforcement is from the motor parks, because as early as 6 o'clock in the morning, you confront a driver or you accost a driver or you have a discussion with a driver or a conductor, and as at that time, the person is already reeking of alcohol. Sure. How? And they even flaunt it with the sachet thing. They put it in one side of the mouth. Yeah. They are talking to you, and it's everywhere. We also have young men, who get involved in it. Because it is low end, the affordability is pervasive, is everywhere. Anybody can. If you have 100 naira, you can afford it. Unlike the big bottle that you need something like 7,000-8,000 naira. So the low-end product market makes it easier, for it to be accessible. And it's not good. We also talk about the health implications of it. People that have internal organs damaged because some of these products are of even low quality and they are adulterated. So I think it's a good thing that NAFDAC is doing. But like I said the other day, I think there's a farmer war that is ongoing, that is brewing in all of this, that we are not aware of it. So, but I think it's something that can be resolved between the agencies. I'm talking about the NAFDAC, the manufacturers, and the House of the National Assembly. I'm happy that the National Assembly has stepped in, but unfortunately, sometimes when our National Assembly, when the legislators step into something, they start, during the process of oversight, we'll see a lot of things, some kind of under-the-table arrangements, and it doesn't speak well. At the end of the day, society, is at the receiving end of the problem that we're even trying to solve.
I totally agree with you. There was something you touched on, that there should be a lot of dialogue, and I do agree. When policies like this are about to be implemented, there'll be a lot of pushback for economic reasons, and even for, basically for economic reasons. But I think there should be a lot of communication and not combat, because that's what is happening. Then on the flip side, Nigerians are also confused about who is in charge. The House of Rep have said, hold on, let us check, let us weigh the options, weigh the pros and the cons, while NAFDAC is saying, okay, we have heard you, but we are going ahead. So really, who is in charge of all of this? And then when you put out policies like this that affect lives, that affect livelihoods, there should be alternatives. And I don't think that, I'm sure NAFDAC has had various sit-downs with some of the stakeholders, but there hasn't been any truce. That's why they have gone ahead. But this is going to linger, and I don't know how the enforcement is going to happen, because you also said something, Mr. Okoro. You said it's at the bus stops that you find.
Yes.
I don't really.
Motor parks.
Not just the motor parks. In fact, I have seen a lot of shop owners, elderly women, not even men. I'm a woman, but I see some elderly women. You go to their shops, like all these petty roadside shops. You're seeing them drinking those things. And like you said, it penetrates the market faster because it's low end and it's very affordable. How many people typically can afford the bottles? But also there is also a place of misinformation. the average person is still thinking that NAFDAC is not saying don't do these PET bottles. They are saying that there's a standard.
A standard.
But people are thinking
that it is an outright ban.
So you see, sometimes there's still this misinformation, and that's why there's a lot of misunderstanding. But like you said,
yes,
there should be a lot of communication.
And I just hope that they are able to resolve all of these so that Nigerians, people that are involved in that business, people who earn a living from that business can move on with their life. Yes. Now, let's quickly run to the papers and see what the headlines are saying. And we'll start with the Nigerian Tribune. Nigeria and recovery spree strengthens against major currencies. Rivers, APC discussing with Wike to resolve impasse. Bashiru, National Secretary. Well, people after stoking tension, they go back to resolve it. That's interesting. Well, FCT workers appeal industrial court ruling, resume strike. We are still in court. Obey ruling, Wike tells workers. Now, the big story, 2027, waiting game persists as Senate delays Electoral Act bill. With the riders, defers action till Tuesday, raises mini committee to distill senators' views. Reps step down consideration of outstanding clauses. 4 lenders set for strategic decision as recapitalization deadline approaches. We will create more institutions to make Oyo greater. That's coming from the state governor, Shettima. Borno government orders direct payment of LG allocations. And the opposition alliance will chase APC out in 2027. Buba Galadima says opposition ready to queue behind most popular candidate. Kano governor must submit NMPP's mandate before defection. He adds, that's coming from Buba Galadima. And in the world of health, scientists develop injection that repairs brain after stroke. That's coming from a report. And that's it from the Nigerian Tribune.
Okay, let's check out the front page of The Guardian. The lead story, how varsities mass-produce research without solutions to societal ills. APC weighs leadership shake-up as Ndume warns of northern discontent. 58.4 trillion naira budget scales through second reading without debate. IPOB faults Soludo's threat to revoke Onitsha Market's ownership rights. Wike commissions 12 ambulances as FCTA workers resume strike. Zulum okays direct payment of monthly allocations to Borno local government. Amotekun denies accidental discharge at Owo training ground. NCC removes 450 illegal signal boosters, reassigns spectrum. Fuel price hike imminent as oil prices exceed budget benchmark. Senate probes waning Abuja-Kaduna railway operations and still aviation. Cargo agents kick as FAN increases tariff by 257%.
Now, that's it on newspaper headlines. We'll go for a short break, and when we return, we'll delve into the major topic of discussion. State of the nation, Tinubu'S reforms yielding results amidst insecurity and poverty. That is coming from the Vice President, Kashim Shettima. We'll go for a short break, and when we return, we'll bring in our guest and we'll talk about it. Stay with us and don't go away.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city. The loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lord.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people. Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV, now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. And if you are just joining us, this is VOP This Morning. Now let's get into it. Vice President Shettima has hailed President Bola Tinubu's economic and governance reforms as vital steps in rebuilding Nigeria's global image, insisting that the administration is restoring credibility and attracting international confidence. He argued that Tinubu's policies are laying the foundation for long-term stability and growth, portraying Nigeria as a country reclaiming its place on the world stage. However, this upbeat narrative clashes sharply with realities on the ground, where ordinary citizens continue to grapple with rising inflation, unemployment, and worsening insecurity. Or in Ondo State, youths have openly decried the failure of the APC-led government, lamenting broken promises and deteriorating living conditions. Meanwhile, heartbreaking reports from rural communities reveal families in tears as suspected Fulani terrorists destroy homes and livelihoods, with fresh abductions, including incidents allegedly targeting figures close to Tinubu and Shettima, further stoking fear nationwide. Well, let's bring in our guests, and we've been joined in the studio here in Lagos, who we are broadcasting from, by Mr. Dele Fanimo. Dele is a reporter and a political affairs analyst. He will help us make sense of what the Vice President is talking about as an analyst. Good morning.
Good morning.
Did you see the rain this morning?
It touched me.
It touched you?
Yes.
But you are dried up.
Well, somehow. I had to stay within the confine of the office.
All right, beautiful. Good to have you.
Good
Good to know that you were able to defy the rains to make it to the show this morning. We appreciate your presence.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Now, we've also been joined virtually by Barrister Asim Adams. Barrister Adams is a legal practitioner, civil rights activist, and a constitutional lawyer. Good morning to you, Barrister Adams, and thanks for being part of this show. Okay, we need for you to unmute your mic so that we can get your audio feed.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Okoro.
Beautiful. Good morning, Barrister Adams. Thanks for being part of the show. We appreciate your presence.
Yeah.
We've also been joined
virtual.
Okay, good morning. He's saying good morning to the
Good
team.
morning, Barrister. I'm missing you here in Lagos.
Okay,
we'll see very soon.
We'll see very soon. Thank you very much. We also have Barrister Eze Eluche. Eze Eluche is an attorney at law and a political affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Barrister Eze Eluche.
Good morning. It's good to always be here every Friday morning. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks for your presence, sir. We appreciate you. We've also been joined by Mr. Olusegun Okwade. Okwade is an economic and financial expert, public and political affairs analyst. Good morning to you. Okay, I've just been told that he's going to join us in the course of the show. And from our Benin outstation, we have activist Kelvin Ejumudu. He's the National Secretary, Human Rights Protection Congress, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Delta State on Human Rights. He's also a political affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Comrade Kelvin Ejumudu, and thanks for being part of this show.
Good morning, sir, and thank you for having me.
Beautiful. Thanks for your presence. We appreciate it. Now, let's start with Mr. Dele Fonimo here in the studio. Dele, our president says, look, our vice president says, look, our economic policies are making progress, economic growth and sustainability, and all of that. But there seems to be some kind of disagreement. Some people are saying, no, we might have policies on ground, but those policies, we have not seen them yielding fruits in the immediate. They might yield in the future, but at the moment, it is improper for anyone to gloat that, look, we have made it. We have turned the corner like the president told us the other day. So in all of this, what's your reaction to the comment coming from the vice president? And the fact that Nigerians are also saying, no, Mr. Vice President, it is not yet to huru. For now, Nigerians start suffering. So what do you say in all of this? Help us make sense of it.
Well, if I were in Shettima's shoes, I would even do more than this.
Okay.
Because this is considered his government. He holds a joint ticket with the president. So to that extent, he won't go anywhere and begin to run down a government that is also a major stakeholder, yes. You know. And so I'm not expecting anything less or different from what he has said. Now, let's take these policies one after the other. The removal of subsidy. The removal of subsidy took the feeding bottle from some people, and up to now, they're still reeling in pains because it became a cesspit of corruption, the subsidy regime. You recall that a former chairman of PDP, his son was sentenced to, I think, 12 years imprisonment, you know, for funny transactions in the subsidy regime. And a lot of people are also there that they were importing virtually nothing and collecting money. You also recall that when the new CBN governor came, there was about 7-point-something trillion debts on subsidy. And he went into it employing international audit firm. And at the end of the day, only 5 could present papers. 5 trillion. The other 2 trillion, nobody has ever presented paper up to this moment.
You know, I think you're talking about demand for forex. That's what the
No,
it's about forex. You know, there were demands for forex, you know, and when they went into it, they discovered that look, some of them were actually phony.
Phony, you know, and so what we are saying to this extent, and good enough, all the 3 major candidates in the last election made a promise that they were going to stop subsidy. At what point they would rather have stopped it is what we don't know, because it's just a matter of guess now. Now, on the dual exchange rate, just like you just mentioned, with that correction, you imagine 2 trillion that could not be
accounted for.
It would have gone down the drain and into private pockets. So that stopped. And you also recall that as soon as this administration came in, the exchange rate could melt to up to 1,900 to $1. Now it's steady at 1,400. You know, and so those two policies, I share those policies, and it's also making some inroads.
Okay.
Now the tax reform is just coming up. We don't even know. In fact, there was a joke that even those in the tax office, they don't even understand the tax reform act. So we cannot comment on that as yet. But there are areas where I would call this administration low. I would call this administration low on security.
Okay.
The level of insecurity in this country is extremely high. And sometimes those who are outside this country, they fear for our lives more than we that are residents. Because any little thing, you get calls from outside. How are you? Are you okay? Are you safe? As if the bedlam is everywhere. So government has not been able to do the right thing in the area of security.
Okay.
I would call them low.
Okay, all right.
Then, in the area of the purchasing power of the average Nigerian, we are not there.
Okay, we are not there
yet.
Not there. We are not there yet.
Let me quickly ask you this before I lose my thoughts. One of the things this administration always says is give us patience. Sorry, give us time. Be patient. It's going to get hard before it gets softer and better. But for how long do you think Nigerians should, exercise that patience before we begin to reap some of the so-called dividends of this reform, seeing that the elections are just roughly 13 months away, 14 months away? So what's the time frame? How long do we keep waiting and expecting that change to come?
You see, the waiting would have been less traumatic if those who say we should wait are also living it.
Waiting with us.
Waiting with us. They're not living it. You see a local government chairman's convoy, you think it's governor that is coming. At the rate we buy fuel, I was just told this morning that it's likely that there will be marginal increase in the price of fuel. Last week, there was 100 top up. So, which means we are still heading back to 1,000. And yet, because these people, they use taxpayers' money, they don't show that kind of feeling that will make me wait.
Okay.
If you are saying that I should fast, you are a pastor, and you are saying that the church should fast, and I see you eating.
Okay. All right. So it doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up.
All right. I'll come back to you in the course of these conversations so that we'll talk about
my state.
Okay. Yes, your state.
Insecurity in my state.
Not just insecurity. The people are also disgruntled with the APC-led government.
No, man is a...
We'll talk about that. Let's bring in our virtual guest. Let me go to Barrister Eze Eluche. Barrister Eze Eluche, I would like for you to help us, untie this knot based on what the Vice President, Kasim Shettima, said. He said, well, look, the economic policies of this administration are making progress. We have turned the corner. We are not where we were before. So do you see that where you are in Owerri, what's the state of things now? Help us understand. How do the people feel about, is there the economic decline? Is there economic downturn, or is it growth? What do people see? Purchasing power of the people and all of that. Help us make sense of what the Vice President said.
Well, thank you very much. I think the reality is this. When you look at conglomerates that have left Nigeria since Bola Tinubu came into office, you'll be able to gauge whether the Vice President is lying or is being truthful. Because these conglomerates have economists, have projections, they have all the professionals that can help them gauge whether a country is going in the right direction or not, because they are always so when they look at what is going on and they run away, you now know that something is happening. In Nigeria, Procter & Gamble, PZ, Shell, Mobil Exxon, you name it, more than 15 major conglomerates have left. ShopRite.
But I had to button at this moment. We also understand that Shell is planning $20 billion investment, and they are trying to come back.
Well, all those plans for now, no, they are not there. That is the bottom line. I'm talking about
the plan is there, but you might say that they have not come.
Okay, but you know the way. Okay, let me just answer that. You know the way these oil conglomerates work.
Okay.
They may bring in one equipment and say it's $1 billion, and you can't have any way of gauging or whatever. Okay. But look at all the other companies that have left this country, and Shell left in the course of Tinubu's regime. So we cannot agree with what Mr. Vice President is saying. In fact, we can only conclude that he's telling absolute lies, because all around us, the dire economic faces us in the face. Forget their voodoo statistics, where they claim that so much is happening. The GDP has jumped up, it has come down. What comes out from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, where they churn out figures that are clearly boo-boo figures. The fact is, the Nigerian on the street, the conglomerates and in the boardrooms, how are they feeling these economic policies of this government? And with regards to what Mr. Fanimo said about some of their policies being good or not, all of their policies are not, they can be referred to as scams, like the so-called removal of fuel subsidy. When it was removed, Mr. Tinubu assured us that the benefits from those removals will be channeled into other areas that will cushion the effect on Nigerians. We've only seen the removal and not one single cushion.
But talking about cushion, the governors admit to getting more monies from the federation account. And the president says, well, because we removed fuel subsidy, there is more money to be shared by the tiers of government. And the governors do admit, they acknowledge the fact that, look, we are getting more money.
We can look beyond what the governors are saying. If before this government came, the exchange rate of the dollar was in the 400 naira region, and now it is 1,400. It is obvious that they are going to get about 3 to 4 times more than what they were getting. But it's not based on any development in the economy. It's just based on making the naira worthless, making the naira near worthless. So yes, if you are getting 10 naira before and you're not getting, if you're getting 10 million or 10 billion and you're not getting 40 billion naira, only because the value of the naira has crashed, they should be ashamed to even say that they are getting more funds, because it's not what's happening. The fact is that they are getting whatever extra income based on rubbishing the naira. Are you now telling me that if they make the naira 10,000 naira to $1 and the governors now tell us that they're getting money, we should accept what they are telling us? Because maybe the smallest state get about 3 trillion. Does that mean they've gotten more money? No, they've only impoverished us more. They've pulverized the economy. What the indices we should be looking at are the corporate bodies, the individuals in society. And look at the contracting officials. The president goes about in Escalade. He flies all over the world with his fairly used jet, virtually only visiting Nigeria once in a while. And somebody has the guts to tell us that the economy is improving.
Barrister, please let me put you in here. Reforms aren't a new thing in Nigeria. In the 80s, we had the SAP, the Structural Adjustment Program, and it pretty much worked, like I hear, to a certain extent. But this current reform, what do you think are some of the lessons that we have failed, perhaps, to employ from the lessons from the time?
The current reform
regarding the current reform of this administration. All their reforms, like even Mr. President said during the campaign eras, was to broaden the tax net, reduce the purchasing power of Nigerians, and impoverish Nigerians. These were direct comments from Mr. Bola Tinubu. He will broaden the tax net. He will reduce the purchasing power of the naira. Now, when a man makes that comment and begins to flow with it, how can you, for goodness sake, say those kind of policies are good for the economy? Or that, voodoo-linked policies that you can see it on the streets.
is affecting the common man. And somebody's telling us that these things are working. Perhaps it's working because they are building new jetties for presidential fleet. They've bought new vehicles for the president and his wife and the vice president. So to them, the economic policies are working. But for Nigerians, for the conglomerates, for the companies, for corporate bodies, for even the entrepreneurs who are now faced with horrific tax burdens, this is not working.
Okay, all right. The earlier we understand that, the better. Now, Barrister Eze, before I leave you on this conversation, I would like to ask you, isn't it proper to say that the Vice President's statement is incorrect than saying that he is lying? Which one?
Now, you see, when you say it's incorrect, you give him the leeway to begin to meander. But the fact, and at times we have gotten to that stage in our lives when we should say the truth and we should not shy away from saying the truth. So the reality is that Mr. Kashim Shettima lied absolutely against all indices, against all international organizations like the World Bank, IMF, who are telling us that Nigerians are getting deeper into poverty. So what is he basing his lies on? So they are blatant lies that were just meant to deceive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Barrister Eze. Now let's take this conversation to Barrister Asim Adams, who is in Port Harcourt, the troubled city, the troubled city of Nigeria at the moment in terms of politics, the back and forth, the gladiators and all of that. Barrister Adams, good morning once again. Please, can you help us make sense of what the Vice President said, that look, the economic policies of this administration are making progress, that there is economic growth. And one of the analysts here in the studio, Dele Fanimo, said that, look, the removal of the oil subsidy, has helped us in some way. As a matter of fact, he also said that the other three presidential candidates had promised at some point that this fuel subsidy was going to go. Do you think that the president, in the way that he has handled the removal of fuel subsidy, it's something that should, have been the way it should be? And what I'm saying is that, look, has it been properly handled in terms of the time it was removed, in terms of the earnings, the accrual from the removal of fuel subsidy, how it's been handled and all of that? Help us, make sense of all of this. Hello, Barrister Adams. I need for you to unmute your mic.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Okoro. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
The Economist, we look at the economy from the economic angle. The lawyer, we look at the economy also from the lawyering aspect. The common man will look at the economy from his own angle. Now, my own angle as a lawyer is that I am not an economist. I cannot look at the figures, statistics they turned out to contest those statistics. Because the basis for which they turned out those statistics, I do not have the technical know-how or expertise to turn on my own and debunk them. Now, I will look at things from the real perspective. Just like Edward Bob wrote a letter to the pessimist, the optimist, opportunist like myself. Now, if you look at section 14 sub 2B of the 1999 Constitution, it talks about welfare and security for the people. Then you go to section 16 sub 1B of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria. It says about the economic objectives of the government, both at the local government level, state government level, and the federal government level. Unfortunately, we are profiling the federal government level right now. Section 16 sub 1B says that whoever that is the president, that you must tinker with the economy, harness its potentials to the happiness of the Nigerian people. The word happiness is not my own, word. It's in the Constitution, in capital letters, happiness of the Nigerian people. So the question we need to ask the economists and those who have been saying they have done well, they have not done well, is this: are Nigerians happy economically, or the way the economy is being driven? My answer, and a pure simple one, is no. Indices have come, which is the realistic indices of an economy that should be working in favor of the masses. One, the average two-bedroom apartment in any part of the city, the foodstuff skyrocketing. Maybe they've gone down from what they have stated. I don't know. Employment is also very, very high. And so many other things that will tell me that the economy of Nigeria is not in good shape. What the president and the executive council are practicing today are expansionary and the big boys in power. That is why you find out that the rich keep getting richer, while the poor keep getting poorer.
Okay.
The economy of Nigeria has lobotomized, denigrated, dismembered the middle class to the extent that in Nigeria today, it's either you are rich or you are poor. Let me tell you that there are things the middle class were able to do some years back, but they cannot do it now. They now fall within the cubicle of the poor people that we have in Nigeria today.
Okay, all right.
So these are the things.
These are the
if I want to round up, let me round up with this, is that I will not be a prophet of gloom. Let me not be a prophet of gloom. I will say that, yes, we cannot say, if we want to be very objective, that the government has not done something great or good. Electricity, they have improved on it.
Really?
You can drive into, yes, in the area, yes.
Okay.
The supply, they've improved. They have a generation of electricity, yes. Absolutely, yes. We are talking with facts. Generation of electricity. And I've done my own preview. In Lagos, I did it. In Port Harcourt, River State, I'm doing it. So there is, that.
Okay.
In aspect, I want to look at the people, the Nigerian people. The government has done well. I can drive into any police station today, buy my fuel and go. I don't really care about the price the way it is now.
Okay.
Because where there is no scarcity, I do not feel the pains.
All right.
So these are the things I give to them.
Okay.
Let me not be able. I'll just leave it at that point.
But Barrister Adams, we'll come back to you in the course of this conversation so that we can expand it. Now let's go to Benin City, where we have Comrade Kevin Ejumudu. Good morning to you once again, Comrade Ejumudu. Now let us into.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, beautiful. You are an activist. What do you see in the streets of Nigeria, in the streets of Benin, in the streets of Asaba, when you walk? What is the reaction of the people about the economic policies of this administration? Let us into all that, are the people happy? Are we making improvements, or are we going backwards? What do you see? What do you know?
Yes, thank you very much. Without mixing words, I want to say Nigeria has never had it this bad. It is bad to the point that families are struggling to even get 2 square meals a day. Some, the battle will just having 1 square meal a day to run an entire family. Small and medium-scale businesses, which happens to be the driving force of the economy, they are folding up. You struggle to get power supply. You pay a humongous amount of money for power supply. You buy fuel in higher purchase, but the demand for your service is poor. Because according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the first need of man is food. Food, shelter, and clothing before the need to be loved and be liked and self-esteem needs. What is the price of food commodities in a market? You can't go to the market today and boastfully with 10,000 naira to buy something tangible for a family of 3 or a family of 2. So at the end of the day, I do not understand the rhetorics, the criteria or the prerequisite with which the Vice President, Shettima, came up with to say their policies have been able to elevate Nigerians from poverty across boards. The truth is, why are there increasing crime rates? It's because poverty is in the land. Why are there increase in civil disobedience? It's because there's poverty in the land. When the youth are not engaged, they look for avenue for self-help, scrupulous means to make ends meet. And you see today, a 21-year-old boy will kill his friend because of money. A 20-year-old boy will kill his mother because of money. We've never had it this bad. I grew up as a young sharp in Delta State at that time, when the seaport Warri was working. We go there after school to offload items, and you get paid. And crime was never in a dictionary. We were proud to say we've made 2,000 naira, 1,000 naira today, and we're happy with it. Who told us the executive for where the labor platforms to work? Nigerian workers are being subjected to poverty.
All right. All right, comrade, if you look at, we are discussing the economic policies now. Assuming your position now is that they are not, that we are not making progress. Are there things that you see more like long-term benefits of these policies? If we continue to sustain them, like we've been advised by the Bretton Woods institutions, well, that these policies are good, that we need to sustain them. Do you see anything, is there anything that tells you that, look, we might just hit El Dorado if we continue to go in this direction?
There is no long-term benefit of all the policies. For example, the oil and gas sector, which happens to be the goose that laid the golden egg for the Nigerian economy. You told us subsidy is gone, and your refineries are not working. By now, we want to believe that, okay, having removed the money for subsidy, Port Harcourt refinery will be working, Warri refinery will be working, Kaduna refinery will be working, and we'll say, okay, for this purpose, the price of PMS and diesel and all of that has reduced. But to this point, none of them is working. Then the man who happens to bring his price down, they are fighting him to ensure that he doesn't get his price being brought down. The policy of the financial policies also is zero. You said you want to level up the naira in the parallel market, and at the end of the day, what do we have? As worse as Buhari's 8 years regime, the naira to the dollar was stable on 700 naira. As worse as the Buhari administration that we were all saying there was hunger in the land, the dollar was 700 naira to naira. Just one statement he made on that day he was sworn in as president has put this economy of Nigeria in tumor.
Okay,
I'm telling you, it's not a joke. In the coming days, the hunger will bite harder and harder.
Comrade, one of the major failings of this administration is the absence of an aggressive economic buffering before he took out the fuel subsidy. And then going by your own assessment of this administration, at this point, should we assess them on their future promises, or should we still harp on the current quality of life in Nigeria?
We must say we are retrogressing as a nation. And if we are retrogressing by their policies they've made, then we have to go back to the drawing board. We cannot accept their explanation going forward.
Okay.
A father that tells the child that when I come back from work, I'll buy you biscuit. And you come back, there's no biscuit, the child begins to wonder, is this man really my father? That's the point where I wonder now, is the president really our president of this country?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Comrade Kelvin Ejimodu. We'll come back to you in the course of this conversation. Let's return to the studio where we still have Mr. Dele Fanimo, and we are going to talk about Ondo State. But before we get into Ondo State, I'd like to ask you talked about the removal of the fuel subsidy, that had unduly been corrupted, You talked about round-tripping, over-invoicing, and all of that. But I also heard you mention that, look, that one man, the son of the former PDP chairman, was jailed. And in everything that went down about oil subsidy in the past 10, 15, 20 years, this government has been able to send only one man to jail, or one man that people even feel is infinitesimal, more like he's taking the fall for others. In that area, do you think that this administration has done well by just removing the fuel subsidy on the pretext that, look, it was benefiting some people unduly, yet, like some others say, we are still back to subsidy. You remember the 7.7 trillion naira. Have they done well in having to ensure that, look, they bring to justice people who ensure that the average Nigerian like you and I, even people below us,
only affects the lowly and not all these highly placed people, particularly political office holders. And I also will say, without fear of equivocation here, that even the EFCC and ICPC have not done much in this area. For instance, a lot of accusations were leveled against some politically exposed person on this oil subsidy regime. The man that you describe as a fall guy in this process is not even politically exposed. It was his father that was formerly the chairman of
a political party. Yes.
A political party. What about the others that were fingered in the process of this oil subsidy? Those who shipped empty vessels, raised invoices, collected money, Now, we need to consciously fight, but unfortunately, I have a feeling that most of these people that have access to this subsidy money are today godfathers of some of these politicians. Because they have tons of cash.
Okay, so apparently you are saying that it will be difficult to do.
It's like a difficult task for them. Because you ask yourself, why would politicians be arraigned in court and then drama follows? Today, they are granted leave for Yaya Bello to travel to Saudi Arabia for lesser Hajj. Somebody who has a case of over 180 billion naira that he has not cleared. So what if he gets to Saudi Arabia and he takes a detour to any of these Far East and never returns until the end of this administration? What happens? We will just forget it.
Okay, now, so quickly, before we go to Ondo State, you have interest in Ondo State. If the EFCC has not done well, ICP has not done well, who should take responsibility for all of this?
It is these agencies that should take responsibility.
Okay, not the person that appointed the people.
No, what I'm saying is, we have not seen if the presidency had held back the EFCC. And I feel that the EFCC should even return to the Minister of Justice. And do the job in collaboration with the Minister of Justice. Because most of these cases, before you even get to prosecution, some of these cases are lost because of lack of diligence investigation.
Okay.
And so why would the governor be let off the hook in Nigeria and in less than 6 months offshore?
If the EFCC has not done a good job, will you advise the president to change the leadership of the EFCC?
Is it the leadership? I think it needs structural realignment.
Structural realignment.
Yes.
Now let's talk about Ondo State. What is going on in Ondo State? People are protesting. They say, well, the APC-led government, that
if
is
it is
not
possible,
doing well.
If it is possible for me to port to Abia and claim Abia,
Why will you want to claim Abia? Is it because
I'm not? I'm ashamed of what is going on in my state.
Okay.
I've not seen any tangible project that this governor had embarked upon.
Can I name one?
The gate?
Yes, the gate.
The gate is on paper. I was in Akure recently. There was nothing. I'm from Akure, the state capital. There's no gate. There's no new gate in Akure. I can tell you that for free. And after this program, I'll call somebody to go to that government house and take a shot.
No, but the people raised the objection. Probably that's why the governor stepped down on the gate.
In a state like that, a state that has federal allocation, a state that has IGR, a state that has 13% derivation, a state that gets royalty from some of these oil companies around the state, and yet you can't compare Ondo State with a state like Enugu that is not an oil producing state. You can't compare Ondo State with a place like Borno that is ravaged by insurgents, and yet this man is trying to do so much for that state within the limited resources available to him. You can't compare Ondo State with Oyo State.
So now your governor is a second-term governor. Do you expect to see any changes before he leaves office?
Second term is always rest period.
Okay, so he's
for political. So we have lost it all.
Okay, you've lost it all.
We have lost it all. That's the truth.
All right. Now let's return to Barrister Eze Eluche. Barrister Eluche, as we coast home on this conversation, I'd like for you to tell us what are your concluding thoughts on this, especially, and I would like for you to talk about the issue of fighting corruption, the effort of this administration in fighting corruption around the oil sector, having removed the fuel subsidy based on the fact that, well, it was enriching some Nigerians unduly, just few Nigerians. How far has the government gone in ensuring that, look, the people that cripple the economy with true oil subsidy, that they have been brought to justice? Help us, sir.
Well, thank you very much. The reality is that there is no effort whatsoever being made by the regime to tackle corruption. Because if the whole idea was that those subsidies was being paid to ghost firms, was being paid to non-existent companies, what effort? No effort has been made. The EFCC has not even bothered, or the ICPC, to go after such characters. Rather, all the government is trying to do is to lampoon the people with more taxes. So there is no effort whatsoever or tangible efforts being made by this government to address corruption. Rather, they're rather promoting it, because once you come into the ruling party, the APC, all your sins are forgiven. And that kind of mindset is what encourages even more corruption. Every day we hear of trillions, we see trillions missing there and there, and no effort whatsoever. The look already of the EFCC will come out and start talking that he's going after Wayahupu, going to harass students in hotel rooms. That is all the government is concerned about, and not going after the mega corruption. Just a few days ago in China, the government executed 11 fraudsters, 11, who, because of the magnitude of fraud that they're doing. But we don't do the kind of thing in Nigeria. Rather, you keep on promoting and elevating fraudsters to higher office. In Delta State, the picture of James Ibori coming up for Senate is already awash in their whole end. So you see that there's deliberate encouragement of graft. In Kogi State, the immediate past governor, Yahaya Bello, who was FCC was brandishing his name all over the world that he was wanted. Now he's in the corridors of power. So anybody who thinks that this government is tackling corruption is not being truthful. I don't think even from his antecedents, Bola Ahmed Tinubu cannot fight corruption, even if his life depended on it, because we know what his antecedents are. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister Eze Eluche. Now let's return to Barrister Asim Adam and get his concluding thoughts on the issue of economic progress made by this administration. Barrister Adams, please, if you can, in 1 minute. Barrister Adams, can you hear me? I need for you to unmute your mic.
I told you, I have done that. I have done that. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I can hear you, sir. Your concluding thoughts.
I told you earlier on that based on the economic failure and economic policy failures of this government, the Senate should impeach the president, because under Section 16 sub 1B, he has not brought happiness to Nigerians. And it is constitutional principle and mandate that you shall think of the economy to the happiness of Nigerians. And if 80%, 90% Nigerians are not happy with the economic policies, it means their policies have failed. So he should either resign, or the National Assembly should initiate impeachment proceedings against him, because that is gross misconduct.
Okay.
That is gross misconduct. When you willfully neglect or refuse to implement or execute sections of the Constitution. That is what you swore to protect. But it's unable to protect Section 16 sub 1B, talking about economic policies. There have failed. So if it has failed, it means there's no need for you to be in government.
All right,
Section 14 sub 2B, you have also failed Nigerians. You can't give welfare. So you should reach him.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Barrister Adams. And to you, Comrade Kelvin Ejumudu, can we have a wrap on this conversation? Hello, Comrade, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Okay, please give us your concluding thoughts. Go ahead, quickly.
Yeah, we must hold our leaders accountable because our leaders, they don't have shame. When people steal with impunity, they steal without considering the next generation, then we must hold them accountable. Enough is enough. When you are elected to lead well, govern well. We can't continue to give promises to the next generation. I watched my late father talk about in the best. Today, I'm married, I have children. I'm talking about Nigerian problem also with my friends in the parlor. How long are we going to remain in this wilderness of poverty? It's an aberration, and we must name it. Corruption and accountability is an epidemic in Nigerian soil. Everybody steal and they have the free day. Until we hear they are held accountable, they are being jailed after their tenure, even while in service, some are being impeached and jailed, then they will sit up. That's my submission. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Comrade Kelvin. Gentlemen, we would like for you to stay with us as we get into the next topic of discussion. We'll go on a short break now, and when we return, ahead of 2027, religious bodies clash over call for INEC chair Amopiton's removal. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're still watching VOP this morning. Nigeria's political and religious landscape was thrown into frenzy as the Muslim rights concern, MURIC, urged President Bola Tinubu to sack INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Amopiton, ahead of the 2027 general elections, accusing him of incompetence and bias. MURIC's demand, made public on January 29, 2026, has stirred heated debate, with critics warning that such calls could destabilize the political electoral process and erode public confidence in the nation's democracy. The group insists that Amopiton's leadership threatens free and fair elections, framing its appeal as a matter of national urgency. But the backlash was swift. The Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, and the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria, SCSN, jointly condemned MURIC's position, dismissing it as politically motivated and cautioned it against dragging religion into electoral disputes. CAN argued that Amopiton's removal should be dictated by sectarian interests, while SCSN stressed that Nigeria's fragile unity could be further endangered if religious bodies continue to weaponize faith in political battles. What do you think about this? What sense can you make of all of this?
MURIC has a funny antecedent. And when they know that the Nigerian public seems to forget about them, they raise up some dust and then pass it on to a better, credible organization to take from that position. So for me, if it were to be some serious-minded organization that is coming up with this, I would want to interrogate it properly. But if it's coming from Murik, we know the antecedents of the leader of Murik. We know him, Professor Ishak. You know, and so for me, but it sends a wrong signal. What is the essence of playing up religion in a fragile, already dissipated crisis that we're trying to tear down? Now, is it a sin for a Christian or even a Muslim to be appointed to midwife an election? Has religion anything to do with the outcome of any election? No. In the Southwest, you have Muslims. In the South-South, even if there are not many, you have Muslims. And you have migrant Muslims that are in South-South. In the Southeast, you have Muslims. There are places where you have Sabongeri in almost all the cities in the Southeast, and they are populated by Muslim Northerners. Now, what is the essence of pushing this kind of narrative to further polarize us?
Okay,
along religious lines.
Now, let me stay with you on this. I had a guest on my show, Political Lens, yesterday, and he was very dismissive of Murik and the Sharia Council, just as you have been now.
Yes.
As you are. But why we dismiss these people? They seem to be having their way. And you asked a question, should or does religion play a role in Nigerian politics? A lot of people will say yes, that it does play a role. Look at the way we are debating about the Muslim ticket. Now, that said, I would like for you to listen to what Sharia Council said. They said that the Senate, the INEC chairman now, as a lawyer, that he authored a document that clearly stated that there was genocide in Nigeria. Shouldn't that be concerning to the Muslim community? If you have a professor who at one point authored a paper that said there is Christian genocide in Nigeria, and suddenly he becomes INEC chairman, shouldn't it be concerning to people of other faiths?
Well, it was said, and it was reported that the INEC chairman made such statements in the past, but I've not been able to lay my hands on some of this.
No, but he also has not denied that.
You know, he has not even been talking about all this.
Yes.
Because he doesn't need to even talk about it. You understand?
No, you know, like our people say, silence is acceptance.
No, you see, this man has a job to do. And this man, the Murik, is just trying to distract him from doing his job. And so if I were to be in the shoes of Amupiton, I will not even make any statements.
Now, let me ask you, at some point, if we dismiss these people, if we become dismissive of them, you recall that when Jonathan was using Ihejirika to fight Boko Haram, they said, look, your people are killing my people. And they put pressure on him. And they removed the Ihejirika. Look at where we are today. Do you think that the president might just listen to the Sharia Council, Murik, or the Muslim community, Islamic community, and say, look, maybe they are right. Let's look for
I just said
Did you see that coming?
I just said something that if it were to be Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs that is raising this, I will get worried. If it were to be some other strong, notable group that has religious learning, I will be worried.
Okay, so
but
this one
this
doesn't bother
Murik,
you.
the next thing he's trying to target now, I can bet you, is he will want to subsume this argument under Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs.
We are out of time. Let's run to our virtual guest. Barrister Asim Adams, I'd like for you to take a comment on this. Okay, I understand that we've lost connection with him. So let's go to Barrister Eze Eluche. Barrister Eze Eluche, we hear the Sharia Council and Murik say, look, Amubito, you need to step aside. The president should remove him. Why? Because at one point he authored a document that clearly stated that there is Christian genocide in Nigeria. Now he's INEC chair, the head of the umpire, going into an election. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, thank you very much. For those who are followers of Nigerian politics and then who understand what Murik and Professor Ishaq Akintola, who heads that outfit, it's a rabble-rousing outfit that just comes up with stuff once in a while to attract attention. And I think this has just been distracting Nigerians. They want to give an impression that, okay, some people do not want the INEC chairman to continue in office, and because of this and that reason. But the reality is this. We know Mr. Professor Amopiton has a role to play. He's already fulfilling his functions. He's doing the INEC duties. Let him do it. This trying to distract us with the belief so that it will create a feeling amongst the population that no, he's not going to kowtow to some religious persuasions. It's neither here nor there. Mr. Amopiton has been made the INEC chairman. The whole attempt to make it look as if it's against the Muslims is pure ridiculous. And it does not still distance from the reality that he will still get ahead and do what he has been set out to do by his by the person who nominated him, that is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This is pure distraction. And it's not, discussing this kind of topics here gives it currency, which it does not deserve. Mr. Amopiton did state facts that there was Christian genocide against Christians. How does telling the truth make you unworthy to occupy an office? So he's trying to be destructive and say, okay, because of this reason, he will not count votes. Are the people going to vote? Are they those that committed the genocide? The reality is Professor Ishak of Murik is just doing what he knows best to try to create some kind of dust, be relevant, and get settled. But that's not what we should be discussing here.
Okay, that's not what we should be discussing. Barrister Ezeluche, let's quickly take your concluding thoughts because we're out of time. We might not come back to you. So let's have your concluding thoughts on what we talked about today.
Well, I still do not have any faith or confidence in what Professor Amopiton will do, and it's not based on his previous intellectual acts, his previous intellectual prowess. That he affirmed that there was genocide does not detract from what he can do as INEC chairman. But Nigerians need to maintain 110% focus to ensure that he does not slip, he does not detract from what the INEC chairman will do. There should be follow-up, because this is just to try to detract us, but we must continue to follow every step that Mr. Amopiton does as INEC chairman to ensure that there is no messing up of the next elections, because we are all suffering the pangs.
All right, and thank you very much, Barrister Ezeluche. Let's bring back Comrade Kelvin Ejumuru into this conversation. Comrade, as we wrap up, I would like for you to, I also understand that we've lost connection with him, so let's come back to the studio where we have the reporter, Mr. Dele Fanimo. Dele, can you give us your concluding thoughts about, one, the economic progress we are making according to the Vice President? What is going on in Ondo State? And the call by Muri, for Amopiton to be removed. Just
we need to step up our game in the economic sphere so that at least it's the way the economy is biting. And then we also have to show optics of empathy. Our leaders should empathize with their followers. If you are telling me to fast, you should also lead by fasting too. Not that you are feeding fat and you are making me fast. Then Ondo State, it's just unfortunate that everywhere you find out that the House is always tied to the apron string of the executive arm. If not, what is going on in Ondo State is enough for the House to come together and impeach the governor and his deputy. Because he cannot lay claim, despite the humongous resources available to him, he cannot lay claim to any tangible infrastructure. Roads that were started by his principal before he died, those roads are still there, unattended to. So where is this money going to? And he will come on here to gloat over paying salaries. Who cares about the salaries you are paying? Are you paying from your personal pocket? Is it not out of the state resources? Is it not from taxpayers' money that you are paying this? Okay. So what can he lay claim to? And this is almost over 1 year that he's been in the saddle as a democratically elected governor. Not even when he took over as governor when his principal died. So cumulatively, he has spent close to 6 years in government, and we cannot show anything.
All right then. All right. I must say a very big thank you to you, Mr. Dele Fanimo, reporter and political affairs analyst, for being part of this show. Thank you very much. We appreciate your presence. We also had Barrister Eze Eluche, attorney at law and political affairs analyst. Very big thank you to you, Barrister Eze Eluche. And to Barrister Asim Adams, lawyer and political affairs analyst. A very big thank you to you. We also had Kevin Ejumudu, comrade and special advisor to the governor of Delta State. Gentlemen, I say a very big thank you. Now, this is where we have to draw anchor on this program. On behalf of my colleague here, Jen Agoye, and backroom staff, I am Chukwuma Okoro. We will return at 10 o'clock for in-depth analysis of newspaper headlines. Please do join us then. Bye for now.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. Join us as we drive into